How does it feel to be back to an in-person literary gathering after 2 years?
Well, absolutely wonderful, and especially because this is the Kolkata Literature Festival held in the book fair. Because those of us who are born and brought up in Kolkata, it is the Pithosthan, right? This is a holy place. I've been here all my life. In different capacities. As a student, with my parents as a child, as a student, I've worked in the stalls at book fair, and now I'm back as an author and somebody who's been invited to read at the Kolkata Literary Festival. I can't tell you how overwhelming and how humbling it is.
Let's talk a little bit about your book now, the new book that has released. If you could maybe just point it towards the camera. So it's called Rooted. It's your tribute to India, 75 years of independence. What sort of a tribute is it, and how do you visualize or conceptualize India in this book?
So, Rooted India 75 and We the People. This is my collection of emotions for India as she steps into her 75th year. How this book came about is what I was just mentioning there when I was up on stage, saying that same time last year there was so much of othering. Everybody would be divided into groups, friends would be divided into groups, and they would blame each other, or they would blame the politician, either this politician or that politician. And we are a representative Republican federal democracy, representative democracy. The power actually rests with us. আমরা সবাই রাজা আমাদের এই রাজার রাজত্বে না, আমরা ভুলে যাই কথাগুলো. And I kept thinking that why are we blaming X or Y? They only are a reflection of the society that we are. So change has to be with us, or thought has to be with us, ownership and responsibility has to be with us. And this book and this set of poems actually talks about taking the responsibility of freedom, because freedom comes with great responsibility. And this is, of course, poetic. I write poetry. So it's a collection of emotions, but the overriding theme, two themes. One is unity, of course, because it can't be us and us and us. There's only us. I mean, it's not us versus they. There's only us and us and us. It's only we the people, which is why it's rooted, because we're all rooted in India.
My next question is, how do you see the role of poetry in a society that is in some ways becoming polarized, where instead of speaking to each other, we are more or less speaking at each other, sometimes even shouting at each other? Is poetry just a platform for deliberation, dialogue, or is it perhaps a greater platform for unity, for bringing together people on a platform where they can agree to disagree and at the same time maintain the tradition of syncretism of dialogue that this country is all about?
I love this question, and thank you for asking this. So true. Now, what is poetry to me? Poetry is a lot of things, catharsis, craft, etc., etc., but it is very importantly a voice. And it's not just a voice of rebellion, a voice of political stuff or anything like that. It is a voice for emotions, right? It's the way I consider poetry is like a diary. You just write your emotions, you pour your heart out. So what is the role of poetry going forward in India, in the world, in society? Well, we have to speak and we have to hear. And poetry speaks in a very beautiful way, right? So instead of shouting at each other, whatever, pause. Just pause and hear, listen to the words. And I think poetry has a great role to play. It always has. Look at the freedom movement and what beautiful poetry emanated, not just in India, all over the world. And not just about movements, everything, every emotion, there's a poem.